Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm going to be working on this dragon some more. I'll give you guys a couple little updates on some changes that I made to it. So if you remember, I drew that hole in the back of the puppet and I cut it out. Turned out that wasn't the right spot, so I ended up gluing it back in. And I actually ended up making a hole like this. Now it seems ridiculous as a hole. It's like, why is it so long? Why? And just with the size of the puppet and how it has to go on, it turned out to be the only way it could really go, because you have to be able to get in the puppet like this. And you think you might not need this, but you actually need that little bit of leverage to be able to cut that angle there. So there it is, just like that. It'll sit just like this, and he'll be ready to go. But anyway, so that is the hole that we're going to be using for this character. But anyway, we're going to ignore that for now. What I'm going to be working on is the cheeks of this character. Now, let me see here. I have a example of what the cheeks look like. If you see, he's got these really big cheeks that stick out far. Let's see if I can bring it up on a... is this the right one? Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. See, there we go. Is that it? Sorry, guys. Is that? Hold on. Having a little bit of technical difficulties. Okay. So if you're on Facebook right now in the Cruit and Your Puppet tutorial Q&A group, you can actually see it on the screen. The character, the dragon, has these cheeks that stick out like this. Okay. But if you look on this character, there's no cheeks. The cheeks would be right here. I decided not to make that part of the pattern because at this scale, it just really wouldn't scale up right. If this puppet was being made like humongous, or as like a walk-around costume, then I would have done that in the sculpture. But it wouldn't have made sense for this puppet. It wouldn't have scaled up correctly. So what I did was, if you saw one of my other videos on Facebook, or the picture they put on Instagram, I came up with this shape for the cheeks, so it's going to cut right into the mouth. And I just drew the top angle of where I need to cut that before I glue them on. And once they're glued on, kind of blocky, I'm going to start sculpting them, okay? So that is what I'm going to work on right now. Let me switch the Facebook people to the top view so they can see me cut it. Okay, so this is what I have. Going to be cutting that out right on these lines. Then we're going to glue it in, no problemo. There we go. Get that shape like that. And the opposite for this one. You could kind of bend the foam to do this, but I don't think you'll end up with, it'll end up pulling in strange ways. Though I will have to bend it slightly, but the less stress I put on the foam, the better. Okay, and actually I didn't draw the bottom part there. Oh, see, that fits pretty nicely, considering. Okay, I'm gonna draw, let me look back at that reference quick. Yeah, okay. I'm going to cut that down as well. Okay, so here are my cheeks, and they're going to go on right up here like this. Look at that, you can tell already. They're definitely too big, but I can always, you know, carve them down a little bit. And actually, I think I really like the way that that's laying. So I'm gonna just trim a little bit more to get a little bit more flush. Probably change out this blade soon. Actually, I'm gonna save time. I think I got a sharper one already. Feel a little bit better, though this one's been sitting around. Oh, it's much better. Okay, just a little bit more off this one. Okay. Sand it down so it's a little bit smoother, not so jagged. Chris Tom asks if this is typically the way I would add features to a character. It would completely depend on the character and what kind of features. Sometimes I do it underneath like this. A lot of times if it's a nose, I'll sculpt the nose separately, cover it separately, and then stitch it on. It really just kind of depends on what the detail is. Obviously, in this case, it is the technique that I'm using. Let me get my scissors. Give it a little trim here. Okay. Okay, so I think that will, oh yeah, look at that. That's going to glue down nicely. So let me put a little bit of glue on this. Hey Google, turn on shop vent.
You got it, turning the shop vent on.
Okay. Make sure you're in a well ventilated area when using this type of glue. Alrighty, now I'll just kind of cake this on here. Now while this glue is drying, I'm going to explain a couple other interesting things about this design and some choices that I'm making. Okay, so this is the side of the cheeks. Essentially, they would go on like this. So that means that this is actually the opening of the mouth. But you can see it's set back much further than this mouth opens. So the mouth is actually going to be able to open way back here. It actually goes to there, but I don't think that's going to leave quite enough room for your hand. So I'm probably going to actually cut it to about there. The rest of it would be hiding in the dimple anyway. So this mouth is actually going to be a bit larger than it looks here, and actually this ended up being a little bit too long, so I'm going to trim that down just a little bit. But it's going to look really nice, and actually I'm going to do that cut I think right after we glue this on. So let me dry this out a little bit. Okay, so we will place this right about there. Looks right to me. get press in from the inside. Okay. Do the same thing on this side here. So we try to get. Well, I did one little thing a bit wrong, but luckily pulled it off before it went too wrong. So it pulled up a little bit of the foam, so let me re-glue that a little bit. So, someone just asked about, what is this? So it's one of the Instagram people. If you are on Instagram and you're just joining, we are continuing that dragon puppet. I made a post a couple days ago regarding the cheeks, and that's what I'm attaching right now, actually. And I'm about to start sculpting them out to look the way we want it to. So if you look at that, look at that. Very nice. Okay. Let me reach in and press it in. Okay. So the people at home can see that. Okay. That's how it's looking. So now I'm just going to start hacking away at it. I like to do the initial sculpting with scissors just because it's quick, it's easy, a little safer than using... Actually, maybe should I use a knife? I got the nice new Persona blades here. Yeah, I'll use a Persona blade to start off with. So, in looking at this photo, yeah, I've got quite a bit of trimming to do, but it does stick out quite a bit. So let me just start hacking away at it. Yeah, this bottom cheek really comes off. You might be even thinking that I could have gotten away with doing just one layer. If you could tell, that was 2 layers thick, stacked up of foam. Maybe I could have, but I like to have a little extra, just in case. Look at that. Oh my gosh. There's so much more character to it already. I definitely, I gotta take off quite a bit more though. It is too high up. That looks better. Oh my gosh. I'm loving it. Just making sure that I keep looking over at... Okay. You guys at home can see over there too. That's what we're doing. look at a couple more references here. Huh. It's interesting how different a lot of these references are, because I'm going to have to just get the essence of it. Okay. Well, some of them seem to tuck inside. Some seem to stop short. I'm trying to keep in mind what looks like natural too. I guess it would go up and in. So it's going to be hard though to glue that fabric in and a pattern in, but it's worth it for Disney Dan, the one and only Daniel Becker. Actually, let me get my X-Acto knife for this one in there. Now, I know some people like, if something's got to be symmetrical on both sides, some people like to do work on them, kind of together. Depending on what the sculpture is and what the medium is, sometimes I do as well. I'm not doing that with this one though, because that way I have an exact thing to match. Since all my references are a little bit different, I can look at this side to sculpt that side. And also, if something goes terribly wrong with this side, I just have to remake one cheek. So, I can always keep it as a reference. And also, when you're sculpting features like this for a puppet, you have to, oh my gosh, I didn't even think, how's my sound? You have to kind of exaggerate your sculpture just a little bit on account of the fact that the fleece itself will take up a lot of the space. So, which is also why you have to trim a little closer to the edge as well, because it's going to add, it's going to add almost like, depending on the fleece you're using, up to like 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So, I think that looks, is that too exaggerated? I guess I will start working on the other one. Because you also kind of have to see it all together in order to assess if it looks correct or not. Hey Google, turn off shop vent.
Sure, turning the shop vent off.
Okay, let me see here. Take that down a bit. Oh, that looks nice. Hold on. Sorry, no, you guys can't see too well from this angle. Let me just dig this out. And this is my rough initial carving of this. I'll smooth it out with sandpaper and my rasps once we get to that point. Okay, trimming it down. Oh wow, this is just coming to life for me. Okay, let me switch the cameras here. All right, so I think that's starting to come, looks a little bit lopsided right in the corner of the mouth, so let me trim that out just a little bit. Oh, that's why it's not. Okay. I'll press it down. Okay, so that is kind of where we are. So now this side still seems a little bit bigger. Can you shave that all down a little bit more? How's that? second, let me take this quick. Hello. Hey, what's up? I'm live. What's up? Okay. Bye. So we must have just lost our... Oh! Whoop! We're back on Instagram here. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I had a phone call quick. But we are looking pretty good. It's looking pretty even. Oh, man. Just got to take this sight down just a little bit more, I think. And then I'm going to start really smoothing it out with the sandpaper and the rasp. So, okay. Now let me clean up a bunch of these little pieces here too. Okay. Now we're going to be sanding a bit. So really smoothing this out. This is pretty rough sandpaper. I think this is 60 grit. So it's good for really getting those first edges out. And since this is going to be covered in fleece, I don't really need to go any finer than this because I like that texture. It almost acts like a Velcro, creating a lot of friction between the fleece and the foam. So keeps it from sliding around. Not that sliding around is a big problem, but it's a little added security there. The cameras here for you guys on Facebook. Hey, John Little's in the house. How's it going, Johnny? Make sure you guys check out John Little's work as well. He's got his Facebook page. I think it's the Little Puppets. He was a guest on the podcast not too long ago. Really awesome episode, especially for aspiring puppeteers. Actually, for everybody. He's working on this cool project right now, this panda, that is like... looks awesome. It's one of my favorite like bear puppets I think I've ever seen. And a panda bear is particularly interesting because of the different patches of color. So you have to do a lot of fancy sewing if you're using two different furs. So, and he's doing an awesome job on that. It's looking great, man. Okay, look at that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. You know, it's hard to know exactly. Again, I'm looking at all these references, and in some cases his cheeks are like, they're extreme in all of them, but sometimes they're like really, really extreme. Sometimes they're a little bit toned back, and this seems somewhat in the middle, which is, I think, the best I can ask for. Yeah, I think that is pretty good. Let me switch back to the front facing for you. So for the people on Facebook, it's kind of looking like that. People on Instagram, it's looking like that. Now what I'm going to do is cut up into this groove here, like I was telling you before. Let me just saw it that quick. That's going to change the mouth plate shape, which is totally fine because I did not create that shape yet. Like I said, I'm not going to go all the way back, but I'm going to go back a little bit. So now the mouth is going to open deeper into there. Yeah, I like that. Oh yeah, that's going to make the puppetry even easier to do as well, once we get to that part of it. Okay, so that shows a little better too why we have the different type of foam in there. It's a little bit more movement you can get out of it. Oh, we got another question here. Okay, we're planning to make a non-for-profit puppet theater for kids, for them to interact with real characters and not just their phones. Thank you for your videos. They will help us much in making them. Oh, happy to help. Sorry, I didn't realize that was going to be that kind of question. But yeah, if you finish your stuff, definitely send me a link to it. You can do it through the contact form on my website, or you can contact me as a message through Instagram. That's a really, really good way. Or make a comment on one of my YouTube videos. I look at all those as well. And yeah, can't wait to see it. So, but there we are. There we are. Now, in looking at this too, looks like I'm going to have to do something similar for the, like, almost like eyebrows. Huh. Though maybe that'll be, you see this one. Oh, that's a good picture there. Look at that reference there. Alright. Well, anyway, I think that's all we're going to do for today. I think that's a good, or at least for now. I'll probably come back in a little bit later. I gotta let the dogs out and stuff. But I will keep you guys posted on updates, and I'll post some photos soon. See you soon, guys. Bye.